Boston Celtics fans, I have two major topics to discuss on today's show because there have been some new rumors out there that Jrue Holiday's contract extension may come with some dilemmas. The main one being whether or not they can afford him in the offseason. So we're going to break down the money aspect of it and also what Jrue Holiday could provide for the Boston Celtics moving forward. But speaking of moving forward, last night, Robert Williams did make his return to TD Garden along with Malcolm Brogdon, Delano Banton. But Robert Williams, is there a path that could possibly bring him back to Boston? That's what we're going to explore towards the back half of the show, so you guys want to stick around. But first and foremost, let me go ahead and give a huge shout-out to the person who sponsors this show, and of course, that is going to be Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. I'm playing it. Producer Trizzy's playing it. Here's why you guys should play it too, because March may be over, but the biggest moments in college basketball are tipping off in the month of April. One of those biggest moments being tonight, and you can be a part of the action on both Prize Picks for men and women's college basketball, although Dawn Staley and the South Carolina women's did take that one home yesterday. You can get on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during the basketball postseason. So, as we all know, a total solar eclipse happened earlier today, and Prize Picks wanted to jump in on it as well. They made a promotion for the MLB, giving a nice little discount here on Graham's strikeouts as a pitcher. So I have more than 3.5 pitcher strikeouts. I like taking MLB picks personally. I think I love watching games on TV, so the fact that I get to watch their box scores makes it a little more exciting for me. But you know, I've got the national championship. In both my bracket and in Prize Picks, I got Zach Edey having more than 14 rebounds and assists. And then I got Castle, who popped off the other weekend against Alabama, to have more than 11 points. So I'm jumping in the March Madness stuff. You guys should go on ahead and do so as well. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from basketball, hockey, and League of Legends, and everything in between. Just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy. Let's hop back in talking about Jrue Holiday here. As you guys know, he was traded in the offseason to the Boston Celtics, which sent Robert Williams to Portland. But he does have a player option coming up in the offseason, which rumors are speculating he's probably going to decline it, just to see what's out there for him if the Celtics can't re-sign him, and also give the opportunity for Brad Stevens to re-sign him for a bigger extension. And I want to talk about what Jrue Holiday has done for the Boston Celtics this season. I know you guys see it every single game. Offensively, not so much, but look at the scores that the Celtics have. Jrue Holiday doesn't have to put up the points he used to when he played in Milwaukee. I'm looking at the defensive stats and what he does night in and night out for the C. He's got about a 110 defensive rating on the Boston Celtics right now, averaging nearly 6 rebounds per game, 5 assists, and he's shooting his best career three-point percentage right now, 44.5%. But the big question is not what Jrue Holiday can do for the Celtics. We see that. We saw that without having Derek White and Jrue Holiday when they lost the Atlanta Hawks. They need that defensive duo, and they need Jrue Holiday in the backcourt to win a championship. But question is, can the Boston Celtics afford him? We're going to break that down here in just 1 second. First and foremost, like this video. If you think Jrue Holiday should retire in Boston, you got to think about it. He's only 33 right now, almost 34, and Jrue Holiday recently said, I'm not retiring until my kids tell me it's time to hang it up. So it could be a couple of years to have Jrue Holiday in Boston, but here's what one Eastern Conference executive did have to say about the Jrue Holiday situation, saying it's risky, because if they roll through to the finals and win that easily, you're under pressure to give him a big contract. But at the same time, you can give Jrue Holiday a big deal now, and then they flame out in the playoffs, you lose in the second round, then where are you? And I completely agree with that. You really can't guarantee Jrue Holiday until you get what's guaranteed, and that's that jewelry on your finger. And with Jrue Holiday being the only Boston Celtic that actually does have hardware right now, although it was with the Milwaukee Bucks, I do think that Jrue Holiday is going to potentially lead the Boston Celtics to the promised land. But you have to take a look into the future. As much as I want to focus on what's ahead, and that could be Banner 18, unfortunately, it's a business. So you got to look at the numbers. Next year, the player option of $39 million for Jrue. KP's got $29 million. Jayson Tatum making $34.8 million next year. But I put a little asterisk there because if he does sign a supermax contract in the offseason, this would be the last year he makes money like that. He'll be making Jaylen Brown money, if not more, the year after that, which would be $49 million for JB next year. Then you add on possibly $52 million year after for Jayson Tatum. Then you've got Derek White until 2026, which he will be a free agent then, so you're going to have to start looking at a Derek White extension as well. There's just too much money to go around, which is why they create this tax apron so that you can't have these promising starters year in, year out, make this great a special team and win every single year. Plus, there have been rumors out there that Jrue Holiday could be seeking upwards of $100 million. That's what's going to be tough, is because you just saw all those salaries they're going to have to pay. They're going to be exceeding the tax limit so much if you add a salary up to $100 million over 3 years, 4 years, however longer Jrue Holiday wants to play in here. And I also did find this little piece of nugget here that if they do re-sign Jrue Holiday for that much money, re-signing could push the repeater tax realm. And I'm not going to act smarter than I am. I had no idea what the repeater tax realm was. I had to look it up. And basically, if a team has paid the luxury tax in 3 of 4 previous seasons, the penalty is harsher than the luxury tax and could have a significant impact on the team's financial situation. So pretty much they're not going to be able to make any other move, not even adding to the bench, because they're going to be so far over that $200 apron. The Celtics are going to be stuck if they end up re-signing Jrue Holiday for a number that he possibly could want. Let's go to the other side of America. The Western Conference executive actually had something else to say about this, saying, I think you get Holiday back at 3 years and $90 million. The one thing that they have going for them is there is not going to be a huge free agent market for Holiday out there, so they're probably negotiating mostly against themselves. Maybe the Sixers or Magic could get involved, but probably this is something that gets done just between Jrue and the Celtics. When you look at what Jrue Holiday has done for the C's, he's an asset, a very reliable asset, but he is 33 years old. There are a couple teams out there like the Magic and like the Sixers who are going to be pushing about $42 million to $52 million opening cap space in this offseason. But the whole point of this is the Boston Celtics have to win this year, or else it could be a bust. I highly doubt Brad Stevens is going to be able to retain all 5 starters next year and create what he has done this year by giving up a lot of significant pieces. Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant Williams, all to create the perfect roster to win the championship. So if Jrue Holiday declines his PO next year, well, then the next move is going to be up to Brad Stevens. And with that being said, is there a path that could possibly bring Robert Williams back to the Celtics? Maybe not in the next year or so, but maybe in the future after having him return to TD Garden. Could there possibly be something that you don't re-sign Jrue Holiday, you have this extra money, could you bring somebody back like a $12 million Robert Williams? We're going to break that down here, but I have one question for you before we hop on over. Should Boston keep the starting 5 next season? Obviously, it's going to be yes. But more so, dig a little deeper here. If there was a player that would not re-sign with the Celtics, which player do you think the Celtics should not re-sign in order to not hit that second tax apron and just be in the hole? Now, can I give you guys some very influential posts that I saw earlier this morning? I woke up, rubbed my eyes, and I saw this wholesome content on my feed of Robert Williams embracing Jaylen Brown when he scored his 10,000th career point. I'm going to be honest, I might have shed a tear. I'm not going to lie. Because he finally returned to TD Garden. I love Robert Williams. He's about a year older than me right now, about 26 years old. And I think that he's just had a really hard time in the NBA with injuries, but he's still trying to make something of himself. And while TD Garden did not give him that big video tribute, welcome back to TD Garden, they just kind of panned over to him and Malcolm Brogdon and such, because those two players were not playing last night against the Boston Celtics. But after the game, he did say it's all love. I understand it's business, and that's the mentality you got to have in this kind of thing. I mean, it's not personal. It's just business. And we all know what Robert Williams has been through with the Celtics, what he's now going through with the Blazers, and he did suffer a season-ending knee injury in November. He had to have surgery, and believe me, Celtics fans are used to this. He didn't even play until December last year, which sucks because he has so much potential. But that's the good thing, is that he still has a lot of time left in the NBA if his body can keep up. When you look at what he's going to be paid in the next couple of years, as of right now, he's making $11.5 million. Next year, 12.4. Year after, 13.2. And then he's going to hit free agency. However, I do feel like if a trade were to happen, with the injury report that he does have, you could possibly get Robert Williams in the future for a cheaper price because he does kind of have that little tag on him that's got injury written all over it. So the Celtics could possibly try again in 2026 with free agency. He'll be 29 years old. That's not bad at all for somebody in the NBA. I think he could still come back and make his way on a path. I could see Brad Stevens bringing him back maybe when he's been healthy for a few more years, like he did with Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis has missed many games in his career, but last season he played the most games in his career with 62. That's when Brad Stevens went out and got him. Plus, with Williams' injury history, you could sign him for less money by next trade deadline. I think I know the answer to this, so that's why I'm just going to make it really simple for you guys. If you want Robert Williams to come back to Boston, at least at some point in his career, all you guys have to do is like this video. Let Brad Stevens know that you're on his side and you want RW3 to come back in, bring the Time Lord back to Boston. And like I said, go ahead and hit that sub button for me for Boston Celtics playoff dubs. We are this close to the postseason, and I know you guys want to be a part of it and know everything that's going on. So all you guys have to do is hit that sub button for me.